Revlon Red story will not be shown at this time.
Welcome to your doom.
Brought to you by No Thanks to You.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Or if you want to see
Welcome
to a brand new...
So,
Disney didn't start the MCU, but they're sure as hell gonna finish it.
Yes, we're going to be talking about Loki, and it's really irritating that even though the first episode was pretty decent, especially comparing what they're working with. I mean, you saw what I said about the other two shows. It's a pretty good show, but they still have the urge to talk trash just because that's our agenda!
After more than a decade's worth of build-up and expanding appeal worldwide, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the single biggest, most popular film franchise in history. It is by now an institution it should not be possible to mess up. Then again, the same could have been said about Star Wars just a few years ago.
In the beginning, after what Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy did to Last Jedi.
Shut up and get to the point!
WandaVision.
I've been watching that. It's pretty good. I mean, it started off cool, and then kind of went, obviously went to shit. How it should have ended and pointed out perfectly.
This will be your only warning. Stay out of my...
Light speed here. Now we're actually getting to the story. It's ramping up.
My only downside about this, it's the kickoff of Marvel Phase 4, which is basically just kind of doing all the woke Marvel comics put into film. Is that Wiccan? The token gay guy?
I'm super! Thanks for asking!
And I told you my problem with Wicked.
I'll repeat myself.
My first introduction to him was in a Death's Head comic, and they focused more on him and his boyfriend fucking in the bathroom than Death's Head, which I'm reading Death's Head, not Young Avengers. So that was my red flag when I came into that show. And also subverting expectations, seems by making Quicksilver be some boner joke. It was a big fuck you at the end. It was decent. It wasn't a perfect ending like these fucking smug little but it was alright. It is Quicksilver dirt, and of course it's just a big foreshadowing for the MCU, so fuck that. And then Falcon the Winter Soldier, it was just PG-13 strike back, but you know it's leading to Black Captain America. And I have nothing against it. He's kind of earned it, even though Bucky should have had the shield. And
Symbols are nothing without the women and men that give them meaning. I am Captain America.
predictable as
I mean, come on! Everyone!
his assumptions were right for the most part. Evil Captain America is now U.S. agent.
Things are about to get weird. So when they do, we're not gonna need a Captain America. We're gonna need a U.S. agent.
I was waiting for that because I always liked U.S. Agent better than Captain America because he was basically a toned down Homelander. That's it. But like Flag Smashers, I thought were fucking annoying. Especially that actors. I hate that fucking Ginger Dyke.
I'm disappointed in you. That's what I was gonna say.
Sharon Carter is the power broker.
Without our super soldiers, how much power does a power broker really have? More than you.
That thing in the box was Captain America. Isaiah Bradley gets remembered. You know, that got me a little misty-eyed.
Now they'll never forget what you did for this country. Never.
So my problem with Marvel Phase 4 is it's just bringing the part of the shitty Marvel, you know, all new, all different, as I call it, son of Amanat hiring fucking diverse douchebags who don't know jack shit about their source material and rape it, because that's what it is.
Oh, snap.
And oh yeah, by the way, fuck son of Amanat, which you've heard me say, because you have no talent and you have no respect for your viewership. And
go fuck yourself.
But back to Captain America and the Winter Soldier, because that's what happened.
I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes.
It's the big kickoff of the all new, all different, and I'm not a big fan of it. It's like WandaVision, for example. Why did I not like WandaVision? In the facing Loki yet, it's the first Marvel series that doesn't feel like a fucking checklist.
If you wanted a Loki show where it's two guys sitting at a table talking about Loki's feelings, then this is the show for you.
It fucking sucks.
There's a few things I worry, and I'll get into that later, but all around it's a good show. It's better than the other two shows. So far, so good.
In the opening of this episode, Loki grabs the Tesseract from the floor as he did in Infinity War and vanishes. He wakes up in the Gobi Desert.
That looks suspiciously like a bunch of actors standing in front of a green screen.
What the fuck? There really is nothing worse than starting off a show about a supervillain with that supervillain being made to look powerless and cucked.
Marvel, you're getting lazy. This looks terrible.
So, he has been arrested apparently by something called the Time Variance Authority.
The reality DMV, and as Loki is standing in the waiting room, we get a cartoon.
Welcome to the Time Variance Authority. I'm Miss Menace, and it's my job to catch you up before you stand trial for your crimes.
What the TVA does is when there is a variant, an anomaly, the cops go out there, they nab the person, and then they reset the timeline before it redlines, as they say, before it becomes a full-blown alternate reality.
Here's what Loki head writer Michael Waldron had to say.
It was really cool to take 10 years of history that have come before this. How can we say that that stuff is basically just bullshit?
In other words, their solution to building up the TVA was discarding the entirety of the Infinity Saga as bullshit, in part by way of having the Infinity Stones be so numerous and impotent that TVA staffers use them as paperweights. But in so doing, they are also dismissing everything that happened before and everything the Avengers fought and sacrificed for as bullshit.
This is a risk that you always run when you start dicking around with time travel, and then you always run the risk of a writer who's too stupid to understand the implications of what they're doing in their story.
I guess the red flag for this one is kind of obvious that the big twist villain is going to be female Loki, and she'll probably end up being the hero and the bestest ever.
What the hell is Feige trying to do here, actually?
All of the male Lokis are going to be evil because
women are better than men.
Come on! Trying to start this Amazonian society, and after we have an Amazonian society, we'll have an ant colony society. You know, where men are just basically used to mate with the queen, and the men die horrible death.
Because that's what they deserve.
Go fuck yourself. This episode it's universe breaking.
That's my only concern, and not because I'm sexist, it's just because it's so predictable.
But why?
Tell me how it was made. I can't wait to hear this.
Now on to something more negative.
I can proudly say I have not watched a single minute of that show.
It is what it is.
Unpopular opinion, Tom Hiddleston as Loki is a great character, but he doesn't belong in the show. The show itself isn't bad. It is Quantum Leap meets CSI, but arbitrarily throwing a new Norse god in there, making him the second Manana to everyone. Everything ruins the character.
And the won't follow. Marvel continues.
Hey, it started alright. Everyone was getting all butthurt too early. Now it's just a bunch of man mashing and Mary suing. It took that long?
Well, as you know, I've been kind of defending this Loki series, giving it a chance. You know, the Phantom Menace I thought was overdoing it with their whole nag, 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 nag.
Want my money and entertain me. Let's see. You have two hookers. One is hot, does what I want, earns my money. The other is ugly, surely preachy, and bitchy. Guess which one will get the money? Episode 3 had this short moment, but it was forgettable.
What about today's episode?
What, a total waste of potentially good characters and concept?
But after seeing the last 2 episodes, I can see what you're getting at, because episode 3 was just kind of a filler episode, and there was a tiny little, Pride Month moment where Loki admitted he's bisexual in the 3rd episode, and that was a filler one. But this new one, I can now agree with you that it's being woke, because this episode was sure as fuck was. Oh my god. I mean, come on!
What was woke about episode 4?
I doubt nothing when it comes to Disney. I canceled my subscription. I won't support woke bullshit.
Yeah, it was cool, the episode in general. I mean, you've seen other YouTubers talking about it so they can get their views and hits and shit.
This episode is titled The Nexus Event. You'll remember that Nexus events are any event that causes the timeline to branch.
Basically is the big reveal episode. It is...
I'm not watching it till they make a season 2.
At the rate things are going, they won't.
But it was woke. And what I mean by that is the very beginning of the episode starts with young Sylvie and female Loki, and she escapes. That's pretty Mary Sue, you know what I mean? Because first episode, Loki's just getting trashed. And the whole episode just man bashing. I mean, like even Mobius gets punked by his superior woman of color boss. The Black Dyke saves the day. Sif returns just to punk Loki, and Loki dies at the end. Of course, post-credit, he gets warped to a dimension where the other Lokis are, and that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? And like, what caused the next events was Loki falling in love with his female self, which is, you know, I really want to ship them. It's weird. I know it's kind of a weird thing to say.
Did you catch the end credit scene though?
The bait and switch isn't what I was expecting, but the naysayers were right about it being a bait and switch, though.
What happened?
Exactly, what happens in the episode?
I haven't watched the end of the
Welcome to your
MCU Disney shows, and Endgame was the end of the road for the MCU.
Yeah, it's pretty woke. So sorry for doubting the fandom menace.
You put woke foot in, and you put your woke foot out. You put your woke foot in, and you shake it all about. You do the Loki, and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
Fandom menace was right about Loki. But this week, I take that back.
I mean, come on.
This is by far the best episode of Loki.
Beans.
Yes, it may be the second to last episode, but it was so not woke.
I've made a huge mistake.
Loki gets sent to the pruning realm. We meet the other Lokis.
Hell, it's about time.
There's like a mini Avengers. Giant smoke monster comes out. They have to team up. Loki and Sylvie are getting closer. TVA are assholes. And that's basically it.
The extreme always seems to make an impression.
Hands down, best episode so far. Nothing else to say because everybody else probably just pointed out better than me. And you probably watched that too.
Hey, I can't believe you're alive. I saw you die. I mourned you. I cried for you.
Come on. What did you expect?
Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka the guy who touched himself and created a Nexus event.
Welcome to the Screen Crush Break Room. I'm Ryan Airy, and back at the TVA, Ravonna refers to the real head of the TVA as...
Find the man behind the curtain.
The entire TVA just seems like some big religious system in which its agents believe they'll be rewarded with paradise, and hell, even the first shot of Mobius was him in a church, so it all ties back to this theme.
Yeah, this episode was good, and if you disagree, you're just a...
Nag.
My only nitpick about it was the one thing they've been promising in the big trailer of President Loki, which is kind of a throwaway gag. But whatever, that's a trailer thing. But that's my only nitpick. This episode, hands down, 9.5 out of 10. There's nothing bad to say about it. Enough said.
Welcome to your doom. Welcome to your doom. Welcome to your doom. Welcome to your doom.
let's talk about the finale of Loki.
It didn't suck.
It wasn't brilliant. It was a lot of fan service. Nobody I hated died, which is disappointing. Like, the Black Dyke didn't die, but she's good now. Ravonna didn't die. She just worked someone we didn't see her again. In fact, Mobius was about to kill her, and then she, of course, you know, checkpoints, you know, a woman has to overpower a man, so she overpowers him and takes the fucking pruning thing and warps to another dimension.
You'll notice that one of the big themes that Phase 4 has already devoted a lot of time to is exploring the ramifications of how much roles of authority and power change when you alter the race or gender of the characters filling the position. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was all about how much the symbolism of Captain America changes based on who's carrying the shield. WandaVision was a story that only happened because a powerful woman who had historically kept her powers bottled up finally lets loose at a time of immense grief. And Black Widow has Natasha debating the widow persona's glamorized celebrity status and sexualized acrobatic fighting techniques. Heck, the first big reveal of Loki is a gender-swapped Loki who, as our Loki himself admits, is the only one of the numerous versions that he believes can save the universe. Multiverse, or whatever you want to call it. So why not end the series with yet another big reveal, a gender-swapped Kang?
And no, Matt Pat, it was not Renslayer as female Kang. Oh god, would that sucked.
Loki's a failure.
Turns out that Loki is going the way of Falcon and the Winter Soldier in terms of steadily declining viewers and in terms of a shared tune-out time, or TOT, on one episode that sent people scrambling for the virtual exits at more or less the same time, well before the end credits.
Loki's not a failure. Loki's actually good. There's a few woke checkmark things in like one episode, but so far so good.
I thought the comments I made about bisexuality would be the controversial stuff, but it turns out that only pissed a few people off.
And then of course our anti-heroes finally get to the citadel of He That Remains, and it's obviously Jonathan Majors, aka Kang.
Now, there were several clues towards this, such as the central timekeeper bearing a big resemblance to him, the Kang building, Goliath, and even the colors when the portal opened were blue, purple, and green, which are of course Kang's colors.
It's Kang in everything except name.
The way he talks about himself, names, what do they matter? I've had many names.
Kang is basically Rick Sanchez, the genius who invented a portal gun. And Mortis even mentions that the Kangs work together, a nod to the Council of Ricks from Rick and Morty, which was a nod to the Council of Reeds from Marvel Comics, which was inspired by the Council of Kangs.
And his performance was just very over the top, very, well, trickstery. And when you have a trickster and then two tricksters who are now like serious, it kind of gets distracting.
I love how he uses the time twister as a weapon to warp around, and it's one of the creepiest Marvel villain intros that we've ever had.
How I'm able to get out of the way just before you kill me.
Like, we make jokes about how Loki is so theatrical, like he flips his hair back every time he falls down, and he did it again during this episode. Like, that's a requirement of the character. He has to fall down on his face, then flip his hair up, really pissed off. Jonathan Majors' version of Kang here is so theatrical and over the top that he makes Loki seem tame by comparison.
Well done!
Kang takes off his time twister, and he actually appreciates the unknown.
And then what happened?
Loki and Sylvie fight and then kiss, which is, you know, fan service. Yeah, I wanted that to happen too. That's because I'm a Gemini, and you get the idea on that one.
Goodbye.
Babe, wait. Babe, wait. Babe, wait. Babe!
Sylvie pushes him into a fucking time door, and he ends up in the TVA.
Is it me, or were you kind of getting some Batman Return vibes with Catwoman? And you know what I'm referring to?
That part where Batman takes off his mask for Selina.
I just couldn't live with myself.
And then sacrifices herself. Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting.
And then what happened?
Loki realized he fucked up, tells Mobius and Black Dyke that
You done fucked up now!
and he sees a statue of He That Remains, aka Kang, and then that's it. And then of course the fucking after credit was just look who will be back in season 2. They kind of learn from their mistakes with WandaVision.
Don't subvert our expectations to be smug about it and do a giant, boner joke.
I've made a huge mistake.
So far, it is the best Marvel show. I wasn't expecting much, especially how the woke train's going. I think they're slowly learning from their mistakes because they know how it's not profitable. I've been seeing a lot of stuff how Kevin Feige has joined the club and they're all giving him bad advice so he can be, kicked out of the fucking club. Disney already had the debacle of Kathleen Kennedy, but whatever, fuck Disney. Issue number 19 of Lost Anarchy magazine.
Oh yeah!
By the way, this issue has more nudity than you can ask for.
Watch videos of people on YouTube reacting to fucking YouTube.
Coming soon to both Lost Anarchy magazine and the Watch Mojo channels. We got some badass graphic novel reviews. And of course, I'd like to make a shout out to our patron, Count MoriVond. My homie from the Rainbow. I'm not gonna say what he does, but this guy is badass. Check out his channel. He does a lot of stuff on satanic poetry and other satanic Bible studies. And also a shout out to one of our other newer patrons, Janitor Jake. I've been a fan of his for years, and
Talk about nostalgia, huh?
of course, shout out to our usual patrons, Ryan Zacher and the Fly Attractor. Later, bitches. Check out our Patreon, and linked in the description, as you can tell, and support our cause. We don't get paid for this shit.